Hello and welcome. Today's reading is for Scorpio for January 2023. Welcome to the table, Scorpio. I have cleared the space here with my gong. I have pre-shuffled the cards, but I will shuffle them again for you. All the cards, I have 3 decks on the table and all of the cards have been pre-shuffled, but I will shuffle them again. The flowers here are from my garden. I hope you enjoy them. I'm an intuitive reader and I read in real time. I don't edit my videos. I use 5 cards along the top row and 5 cards along the bottom row. I talk about each one of those cards as they come out. Then I overlay them with a second deck of cards. I talk about those cards as well. And then towards the end, I pull the whole reading together. If I need to, I have a 3rd deck of cards that I can use to clarify just some small aspects of the reading, but usually I don't need to do too many clarifying cards. Okay, Scorpio, hope you're well. Just cut the deck and we can start. Okay. All right, first card out. 3 of Cups in reverse, 10 of Swords in reverse, 6 of Swords in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse, and the 2 of Wands in reverse. Now, Scorpio, I don't want you to be alarmed by any of the reverse cards. Sometimes I read the negative readings and sometimes I read the positive readings. The card itself will give me a negative vibe if I feel that. I will talk to you about that, but don't be alarmed if the cards are upside down. On the bottom row, we've got the Chariot in reverse, 5 of Cups in reverse, the Hanged Man in the upright position, 4 of Pentacles in reverse, and the Lovers in the upright position. I'll show you the bottom of the deck first, and then I'll have a look myself. So on the bottom of the deck, we have the 7 of Swords in the upright position. Okay. All right, I'll talk about these cards first. And as I said, sometimes some people worry that if the card is in reverse, it's all negative. No, it isn't. And what the card then is trying to say perhaps is that there are lessons in every one of these cards. Sometimes you just have to look at a slightly different meaning, but other times I have no sense of it being negative at all. Okay, so the 3 of Cups is your first card out. So this is a card of celebrating with family and friends, having some reason to celebrate. I sometimes feel too that this is a matter of security. Sometimes people who don't have a great number of friends feel insecure. It's not essential to have a great number of friends in life. If you have 1 or 2 people with whom you can have a nice conversation, that can be sufficient. Not everyone requires a whole host of friends. 10 of Swords. This can be a painful ending, or it can just be an ending. It just means you're done with something. It's in reverse, so perhaps you're not yet done with something. Perhaps there's something you need to think through a little bit more. Or maybe you haven't quite been able to get something out of your mind. The 6 of Swords is usually about moving away, moving on to better times. This is not an unhappy card, although it looks as though it can be unhappy for some people if you first glance at the card, but it isn't. It's moving on to better times, and if you have a family, you're taking your family with you. And perhaps it's just wishing that you could move on to better times. Maybe your circumstances are such that you can't quite move on. King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles is about having sufficient funds, being secure with those funds, having a secure job, investments, property, perhaps owning your own home. The King of Pentacles knows how to earn that money, and he knows to look after that money. He knows how to invest, and he knows how to budget. He is fully secure in his pentacles, and he's often looking for opportunities to find a way to diversify. In the reverse aspect, you can see that he has worked hard. The grapes on the picture tell you that he's worked hard for that money. He's very secure. It's a sedate card, a sort of a sedentary card. And in this case, because it's in the reverse position, this is one aspect where I can say that perhaps you're thinking about your security overly much, perhaps being overly concerned about your financial situation, perhaps holding it a little bit too close. But again, we'll look at that with the second row of cards. This is the Two of Wands, an outward-looking card, a card of expansion, looking beyond your current horizons, advancing yourself and moving forward. So perhaps you're looking for an opportunity, perhaps you're not happy with the situation you're in, you may be wishing to start a new job, perhaps you're wishing to relocate, perhaps you're just wishing to travel, and perhaps you just wish for a little bit more freedom or free time. Maybe your time is fully occupied. You have the Chariot in reverse. So the Chariot in reverse is often about leaving something behind. Now again, you have the Six of Swords here, which is again also a feeling of wanting to leave something behind. It's in the reverse position. So whereas in the upright position, it would be fast-moving energy coming towards you, this can be making a decision to leave something behind. It can also be a decision about relocating, moving house, changing where you live, or even wishing that you could change where you live. Here we've got the Five of Cups. Five of Cups is about grief or sadness, feeling alone. He's got some spilt cups here, as you can see. The wine has spilt out of his cup. It means he's not satisfied or he's unhappy with what's happened here. He does have two new cups behind him, and he hasn't looked in those cups yet. Perhaps sometimes you're so overwhelmed with the things that feel broken around you, or the things that have left you unhappy or dissatisfied, something that's left a bad taste in your mouth. Sometimes you're so busy focusing on that, you forget to look at the other opportunities coming towards you. Here we've got the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is a sort of a static energy. It means you're not moving, and you're not moving because you've chosen not to move. This is a number 4. You see, he's making like a number 4, as you can see here with his legs. So number 4 is about stability and being sort of static. You may be choosing to take some time to find some enlightenment in your situation. Perhaps you're just undertaking some study. That could be the case too. But this is a choice. This is a choice this person makes about being in a sort of a static position. This is a sacrifice of some sort. You could be sacrificing yourself so that you can study. You could be sacrificing yourself so that you can help someone else. So this is sort of a card, it's usually considered a card of sacrifice, but it's a chosen sacrifice, so it shouldn't be making you unhappy. Here we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And it's interesting that it's underneath the King of Pentacles, also in reverse. So this is probably an aspect where I will talk about the negative aspects of these cards, because I would say that perhaps you're overly concerned about your finances or your security. Perhaps you're overly concerned about your job. It's almost as though that's the thing that's most in the forefront of your mind. It could be giving you some worries as well. But usually this is a sense of hanging on tightly to your finances, and perhaps not being able to use your finances to move on to different places or to enjoy yourself. Perhaps your finances are holding you back from enjoying yourself. If you're overly focused on accumulating your finances and not using any to sort of broaden your horizons, or perhaps travel, or to do some of the things that make you happy, then your finances become a bit of a burden to you. Here you've got the Two of Cups. This is about love and a union with two people. This is a very lovely union with two people. They are very devoted to each other, very committed to each other, and very engaged with each other. Okay, one of the cards that came out on the bottom of the deck is the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords is not one of the happiest cards. It's about treachery and betrayal and trickery, lies, cheating. Not exactly the happiest card. I'm not quite sure how that relates to the energy. We'll overlay these cards now with the second deck and we'll see how we go and see what we can come up with. Okay, I might just give a little bit more shuffle. Just feel that it's not quite ready. So clarify the Three of Cups, please, for Scorpio. Oh, Eight of Swords. Okay. This is very much a card of feeling trapped. It's in reverse. So again, this is this sense of your mind is locking you in to something. Maybe you just feel you can't move beyond the confines of where you are now for some reason. Perhaps the confines of your home or the confines of your job. Just the situation you're finding yourself in perhaps is not allowing you to spend enough time with your friends or your family, even your extended family. Feeling this is a card of sort of isolation, but more isolation in your mind. And perhaps you have worries and anxiety, or perhaps you're overly concerned about your finances. Let's have a look at the Ten of Swords, because the Ten of Swords is usually about an ending. And it's in reverse, so either there's a delay to this ending, something you can't get away from at the moment, or something you just can't let your mind let go of. And, you know, below that is quite dark energy for both of these cards, because I look up and down as well as beside. So you've got the dark skies here and the dark energy there of the grief. So some kind of a grief or pain is holding you back and not allowing you to move forward. And that can be just a mental pain, a little bit of mental anguish, a little bit of despondency. It can be grief, and it could be a sense of overwhelming grief. If you do find yourself in a situation where everything just looks black, then I do suggest you get some help, because this reading is really just to kind of show you some of the energies that may be coming towards you in January, but I'm not qualified to give you any assistance. So you will need to seek help if grief is becoming an issue for you, or if you're in a lot of pain of some sort. Mental pain is just as damaging to a person's health as physical pain. Let's have a look at the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords. It does say that it's over. Usually the Ten of Swords is over, but because it's in the reverse position, there's often a delay. The one word you often use with cards in reverse is delayed. So I do think there's some sort of a delay of you coming out of this painful situation. Okay, you've got the Chariot in the upright position. Now this is a fast-moving energy, whereas this is sort of a slow-moving energy because it's in the reverse. Here we have a fast-moving energy. Now in this case, I feel it's more of a decision rather than something rushing him towards you, but we'll see. We'll clarify that with the next cards. And there could be a decision. I'm feeling very much perhaps a decision about home. Something to do with home, perhaps where you're residing. Perhaps you're feeling trapped where you are residing, because again, there's a castle here in the background. So it's possible that you feel trapped or unhappy where you're residing at the moment. And perhaps you would like to be able to move, and you are considering a decision about moving. Let's clarify the Six of Swords. Again, that is moving, and this is moving in all senses of the word, because there's no house shown here, so he is actually relocating or moving away from something quite plainly. It's rather interesting when I'm talking about houses and I'm just looking in the background. Now this card, which is the Thievery and the Trickery card, it can be a sort of a temporary situation as well. Maybe your worries and your anxieties and your fears are temporary. You can see there are tents in the background. Now, tents would indicate that that's not a permanent residence or a permanent facility. So, you know, there's some aspects there of impermanence. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Six of Swords. That's not normally a traditional meaning on that card. It's just that I was focused here on the castles in the background, and this one has tents. So I'm thinking of impermanence. But, you know, only you will know whether that's relevant to you, Scorpio. So the Six of Swords, can we clarify that one, please? Okay, Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Again, somebody who's very much focused on her money, even more so than the King. The King is normally a little bit outward looking, and he would be looking for expansion beyond his pentacles. He would be hoping to use his pentacle for good use, whereas the Queen is very much focused on accumulating her pentacles. She's very abundant and she's worked hard, but she's very, very focused on her money. Let's clarify the King of Pentacles, please, for Scorpio. And I don't normally feel that with this card, but because there is some dark energy on the table, the dark energy here on the sides of his chair is perhaps giving me a sense that you're concerned or alarmed or a little bit worried. Maybe a little bit going into a dark mental space about the money. That can be the case. Look, he's using, now I must say this thing here is using his intelligence to earn money. Can you see his golden crown? That is a sign of intelligence. So if you keep it in your head, use your intelligence. Don't let your anxieties and your worries take you over. Okay. Let's clarify the King of Pentacles. Okay, Eight of Wands. It's in the upright position. So hoping or waiting for a message to come in. This is fast-moving energy. You do have the Chariot in the upright position, so these are two cards. Extremely fast-moving energy. This one's usually about messages. This one can be about messages or decisions. So you do have some fast-moving energy coming towards you here, and that's probably relating to your money, since that seems to be quite a bit of focus for you here is the money. So probably about your investments or your money or your security or a job. Could be an offer if you've been looking for a new job. It could be an offer coming towards you. And this card can also be about longing for a new offer. You know, he's got the two swords, he's got the two wands there, but he's looking outward, so he's wondering whether he wants to continue what he's doing. Let's clarify the Two of Wands. Has the world in his hand, or an orb, but it's the world in his hand. So he can be dreaming of freedom or escaping or travel. Okay, Seven of Swords again. This is trickery or deceit, scams, betrayal. Again, you can see the tense, very active card in this case because he's got the red stockings on. The other card, he has red shoes. So it's an active card, something ongoing. It does look like maybe you feel betrayed or cheated. Perhaps you would like to travel. You would like to expand your horizons, but somehow you're feeling cheated or, you know, betrayed somehow. Maybe there's an aspect of betrayal in there, and that can be thoughts because the swords do represent thoughts, so perhaps you're feeling betrayed inside your mind. That can be the case too. It's difficult to read some of these cards, I'll be quite honest about it. Some of these cards, especially this Seven of Swords, you know, if it's straightforward, it can be just, as I say, trickery, deceit. Someone has told you lies, you don't know the truth. You know, it can be the sort of plotting and scheming that goes on in some of the workplaces, all of those sorts of things. But it can also be an aspect of the mind, and perhaps feeling like you've done. You know, this is like, I'm done with this. I'm going to take what I can out of this situation. You know, he's going to take what he can carry away and just leave behind the rest. Sometimes it's a sort of like, I'm going to leave, I'm just going to take what I can get out of this and I'm going to go. I'm walking away. I've had enough of this temporary situation. I can't handle it anymore. Let's have a look at the Chariot in reverse. Chariot in reverse. It does look a little bit dark for you, Scorpio. Unfortunately, I can't. There are not many cards here that are giving me a lot of happiness. A little bit dark, a little bit sort of introspective, perhaps. That's the other thing, is a lot of introspection. Perhaps too much time on your own, or perhaps too much of a situation where you're feeling a little bit trapped. Let's have a look at the Chariot. The only really good card on the deck is this one. And that's lovely. But so far I've got no indication of why that's there. We'll come to that. Often as I put the cards out, we get a better idea of what's going on. So the Chariot. Okay, 7 of Cups. I always call this pie in the sky. Dreaming and wishing, daydreaming, wishing for something to change. Not really knowing which one to pick. Sometimes your circumstances are that you can only wish and dream and you really can't go any further. Perhaps you're just held back for some reason. Perhaps you're in a contract that you're committed to and you can't walk away from it. And that happens to all of us. And we're held back because we have obligations and commitments and contracts that tie us in. But there's no harm in dreaming and wishing for change. So that's in reverse. So again, that looks like there's going to be some delay before you get to have a time to make a choice from these cups. Let's have a look at the 5 of Cups here. This card in this deck particularly, it's a very dark looking energy and it can be despondency and grief. Almost feels like you've lost yourself. In this card, it almost feels like you've lost yourself. Can you see the cloak is covering him completely? You can't see any features on his face. Completely lost and overwhelmed. But I have mentioned it once before that the rivers, the water is there. The water is rarely static. It ebbs and it flows and it moves and it will gradually. Very rarely are you stuck in the one place forever. It can seem like years and years sometimes that you're stuck, but you're very rarely stuck forever. And the water will carry you to a new place eventually. It's not much consolation when you're in the middle of a dark place, but it's so that you don't become completely overwhelmed. Okay, you've got the Devil. Again, the Devil is in reverse. For some reason, most of your cards are in reverse today. It's just the way they've come out. I don't stack the cards in any way. How they come out is just the way they're meant to be read. So you've got the Devil in reverse. So this is some sort of enslavement or bondage, entrapment, obligations. If you've locked yourself into a contract, perhaps even a work contract, sometimes you're committed to finish the project until it's over, and that may be making you feel totally trapped. You may feel dissatisfied. It can be a sexual bondage. It can be a bondage of having a sexual relationship where you're not satisfied and you're just playing the game that this person wants to play. It can be drugs or alcohol. It can be any kind of a bondage situation, something that just locks you in, that doesn't allow you freedom. But they always do say in these cards is that you can take the chains off. But whether you can or not, sometimes it isn't possible to take the chains off. It's rather interesting that it's under the Chariot card. The energies are similar but completely opposite. This is very fast moving and sense of freedom. And then this one here is not fast moving and no sense of freedom whatsoever. So that's rather interesting. I don't really know what that means beyond what I've just said, but I put it out there for you. Okay, let's have a look at the Hanged Man. So this Devil card, don't be alarmed by it. It's just telling you that you're in a situation that perhaps you're not allowing yourself to be free. Maybe you can't escape from something, or perhaps you just can't. You just feel you can't step away from where you are. That is possible too. And that happens to all of us. Sometimes you just get locked into a situation where your responsibilities, obligations, your contracts, even your finances, your family can all lock you into something. Sometimes it doesn't make you feel satisfied, but it's part of the cycle that you're going through. Okay, 10 of Wands. Okay, definitely a heavy burden. A heavy burden. So clearly you're thinking about this heavy burden, and it seems as though you are prepared to sacrifice yourself for this burden. And that's okay. If that's how you feel about it, that's all right too. Sometimes you feel that that's part of your calling in life, is to sacrifice something and to carry that burden. Maybe there's no one else to carry the burden except you. Let's have a look at the Four of Pentacles in reverse. I wish you could smell the lavender, Scorpio, because that is such a soothing energy. Unfortunately, you can't. All I can do is show it to you. Four of Pentacles. Okay. Ace of Swords is about a mental breakthrough, knowing the truth, integrity, honesty, intuition. It's in reverse. I'm not saying there's any dishonesty here or anything like that. I'm just saying that perhaps you need to get some clear thinking going. Maybe you need some time away from where you are, time away from your situation, to get some fresh air and some clean thinking, some clear thinking. Which is interesting because, as I mentioned before, the King of Pentacles is using his intelligence to make his decisions. He's not sitting there and worrying. He's strategic, and again, this can be a card of strategy. It's clever, it's cutting. This is cleverness and has a very cutting energy. You can decide what's right and what's wrong. Okay, let's have a look at this Two of Cups. This is the one card on the deck that just does not seem to fit all the rest of the cards on the deck. So what is that all about? Perhaps you're dreaming about finding love, and that would be lovely. But it doesn't look daydreamy because it's in the upright position. So there's something or someone that is bringing you loving energy here on the table. It's not clear to me what that is because there are no indications on the table. Okay, Two of Swords in reverse. So the Two of Swords in reverse can be being at a crossroads, a point of being in the crossroads in your life, feeling like you can't cope anymore because it's quite a dark energy here. It's under the moon. It's usually referred to as a decision you need to make. It's interesting though, it's got the 2 and the 2, so the 2 is probably a sense of, I have to say, of wanting to be part of a couple, perhaps. Wishing to be part of a couple. Maybe you need to make a decision. It's under the moon, so it talks about illusion. Things you don't want to see, things you can't see. So that's about making a choice or a decision. I haven't got anything more to base that on. I might actually use the third deck here to clarify. I might clarify this end card because it's a little bit ambiguous. The only thing I can see is that a decision that you could make might free you to take up a relationship with someone else. If there's someone else already on the horizon or in your life, it looks like there's a decision you need to make. Pardon me, it was in reverse, so you better put it back the way it was. And that looks like you're having a great deal of trouble making a decision. Some reason, an inability to make a decision. And it's interesting, it's under the Seven of Swords. So it seems to me like you've got some sort of conflict going on here. Very conflicted about the kind of decision you need to make. And maybe feeling you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. That could be the situation as well. Let's clarify this Two of Swords and the Two of Cups. It does make more sense once you've got this card below the Seven of Swords. It feels to me like there's a lot of confusion and conflict, and it likes you going over and over and over the situation again. A little bit like here when you're trapped in your mind. But in this case it feels like it's very, very difficult. Maybe one side of the decision makes you feel like a cheat or somebody who's not to be trusted. Let's have a look at this Two of Swords and the Two of Cups. Just one more. No, second one. Here we go. Okay. So this is the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is highly creative, he's highly fertile. So it can have a sexual energy as well. Perhaps wishing you were in a sexual relationship. Wishing you could start a new project. You've got this card here where this is sort of dreaming of new ventures or new adventures. This king here, he takes his adventures. It's part of it. He can be very sexual, but he's creative as well. It can be creative energy. So somebody who is experienced and well practiced in his craft. So whatever his creative energy is focused on, he's very good at it. But perhaps here also you could be wishing for a sexual relationship perhaps, or a loving relationship. That's the only thing I can come up with. I really can't think of what other meaning that card could have right there. I might just... I forgot to do, and what I always forget to do, I forgot to look at the bottom of the deck on the previous card. I'll show you first and then I'll take a look. So what have you got here? You've got the Ace of Pentacles. Now, again, because I put the deck down earlier, I don't know whether it's in the upright or the reverse position, so I'll take it as being in the upright position. So an opportunity coming towards you, or wishing for an opportunity to come towards you. Okay, so I'll put that there. So it could either be wishing for an opportunity or one that's actually coming towards you. We do have here the Eight of Wands, so it's possible that you are receiving a new offer of some sort. And I hope that's the case for you, in which case then you will be able to expand your horizons. I might just actually get another card here. I can't, for the life of me, make very much out of that, other than perhaps the desire for a sexual relationship. If you're not in one. If you are in a relationship, there's some sort of a decision that needs to be made, but I can't tell you any more than that. I'll pull one more card there, just out of curiosity. It may not make any difference. I wish the reading was a little bit happier for you, Scorpio, but it isn't. So I have to tell it like it is. Whoops. Okay, we've got the Eight of Wands. So this is very fast-moving energy. Maybe if you make a decision, something will change rapidly. It can also be a sexual passion. but it's a, you know, very fast-moving energy here. If it's related to the Ace of Pentacles, an opportunity coming in which case maybe you've got more than one offer, which would be great. Maybe you have more than one offer here in your love life. That would be lovely to be able to have multiple choices. That would be excellent. I'm going to leave it there, Scorpio. It's not the happiest reading, and I can't really change that. Sometimes the energies just come on the table the way they are, and I have to read it as I see it. So thank you very much for watching. If you've managed to stay with me through the whole of the reading, good on you, because I probably would have changed channels by now and found somebody else. But thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.